You are live. You're live. Mary, you're live.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm
Great.
good. How are you, Faye?
I can't complain. I got a raise and this week was really good. No normies are talking to me about anything. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I was thinking about you this week. We redid the downstairs bathroom. Now we're painting our living room. And I'm like, I'm so happy that Faye and I decided it was time to redecorate our houses when the price of paint is ridiculous.
$66 a gallon for the paint I got. And
Yep.
so I said to the lady, I was like, "Oh, that seems reasonable." She's like, "Are you being facetious?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm being facetious." And she's an older lady, and "But you're gonna love it when it's done." I'm like, "Well, for this kind of money, I better." Like, I do love it. I've only done one room so far, but I do like it.
Good.
We got a lot to do.
Excellent. And you named tonight's live. So do you want to explain your Smiley Psy Op title?
Well, I first want to just like touch base with you and how you're doing. I wanted to see if you wanted to say anything about your amazing conversation with Wheels. That was a real treat.
Oh,
I called it Smiley Psy Ops because I got sucked into a little mini deep dive this week. And some Psy Ops are more pleasant than others. And this one left me smiling pretty much the whole time. And we'll get into it.
awesome. I
Awesome.
can't wait. Yes, the other night, Hell on Wheels, who is over in the chat, he texted me and he's like, "Do you want to go live?" I think it was like around 10 o'clock my time. And at first I was like, "Oh, now." And then he didn't even have to respond when I'm already like running downstairs. And I'm like, "I'm going on with Wheels, Mike. Can you get me on?" So we had a really good conversation. He's out in California, and he's living right now this heat wave that's breaking all these records, and the idea of the rolling blackouts, which he has yet to see manifest, and he's living in one of the areas that supposedly it has already happened. So we went over that. We talked a lot about the agenda and them trying to like fit a square peg in a round hole when it comes to the energy and the green initiatives and all this kind of stuff. So if anybody's interested, Wheels, you are welcome to. Hold on, let me just. Can I mod you? I'm not on. I'll mod you. You can add it down there in the chat if you feel like it. But yeah, it was a good talk. What do you think, Faye? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it very much. I always love to hear from Wheels, and he's so smart. And I was so proud of you. I was like, oh, she's wicked smart. I loved it.
It's smart.
I loved it, but some of it was alarming. Like when I went shopping the next day, my chicken wasn't looking the same. I was like, wah wah, Mary.
I know, right?
Um,
Sorry.
no, it's all right. And just my heart goes out to Wheels. I know he's not looking for sympathy, just awareness. And I liked what he said about how we would like to see truthers expand. We mentioned the word eugenics a lot. And if he ever wants to come in, I would love to do a whole show on it,
Mm.
So I really love him. And I'm glad that you guys got a chance to talk. You guys did great. It's a good talk.
Thank you.
And my favorite part was no music, so I could just lay back and relax. So
Right. I felt like almost I was moving too fast because, like, again, he says things that almost like, I hate to use the word triggers, but the things he says really gets me thinking, and he makes it so I can pull in like all this information that I have until we got to the end and his personal experience in what he believes the eugenics agenda is going to be for differently abled or disabled people. And it is a blind spot for the truth movement.
That's always square one with eugenics.
Yeah. So yeah, Wheels, you're welcome to drop that in if you want to. Oh, he already did. Oh, Young Love did. Thank you. Anyway.
Aww.
Yeah, the gang's all here. I love to see everybody here. We have Young Love here, RT, Francis Sage, Hell on Wheels, Ten Tenor. We'll just say a quick hello to everybody. Joe, who's amazing. And earlier, awesome Austin came in and he just gave a thumbs up in Boston Ray. So, on with the show.
I haven't been able to be in the Melodome. I've been so like busy. During the week, I've been sleeping late, transitioning the kids back into school. So let's catch up really quick. So far, so good. The kids are good in school. They're only there to see their friends, guys. I don't care. As long as they're happy, they can go, and they seem very happy. But I have all this time on my hands now. I want to tell you about like 2 Mercury's going to be in retrograde. Do you believe in that? Probably not.
I used to, because I am Mercury, Sun, and Moon ruler.
Mm-hmm.
I used to believe in it, but then I realized if Mercury is in Sun and Moon, no, I'm a Gemini, Sun, Moon, so I'm always sensitive to Mercury.
Yeah.
It means I'm always crazy, and I had to decide I'm not interested in
Right.
Mercury going retrograde. But yeah, I do know about it.
So anyway, this morning I almost hit in my car while I was leaving for work. I leave very early for my little part-time job, and I almost hit Glitchy, who I've talked about on the stream, who is the badass personal trainer, good friend. But like, I almost hit her with my car. Like, she's running around, and then on the same day, I'm laying out by my pool, as I do, and I'm laying on my stomach, and my hair's up, and all of a sudden I feel something drop on the back of my neck. And it wasn't a leaf. It was claws. And I was like, what are you? And I see this bird. It was a bird. A bird landed on my neck as I was laying out. And when I like moved my neck, he flew over and he was like right next to me. I'm like, what are you doing, you weirdo bird? And then I was like, wow. And then I was like, that's something that's never happened to me in my life. You know, what's Isn't that weird?
My daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, out in the yard, and a chipmunk runs up her body and sits on her head. I have pictures of it. We're all like, what the hell is going on? I don't know.
When?
When did that happen? 4th of July.
But this year.
Yeah.
I think animals are acting crazy. Like, these bunnies all around my house clearly want to be my friend because they're always like out and like, bunnies. But yeah, I had a bird land on my neck as I'm laying out sunbathing. That's never happened in my life. And then when he like figured out what he did, and I was like, whoa, bird. He like didn't even fly that far away. He's like sitting there. He's like, I'm a bird.
What kind of bird was it? Just curious.
A little sparrow. It didn't hurt. But I mean, it was
very,
very strange. They're strange. That's weird about the chipmunk too.
Yeah.
That's what happens in the apocalypse, I guess.
I guess so. Animals are acting a little crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on with you?
Me?
You. Yeah, you.
I just want to make sure the past couple of times we've been on, my mic is weird. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's still going on. If I sound weird, could somebody let me know, and I'll have my husband come up and try to fix my mic. So you and I were very unbalanced last week with the sound, and it was irritating to me listening back. So if that's happening again, just let me know. Besides that, nothing is going on. We're redoing the just 2 rooms in my house. And when I say redoing, I just mean painting, essentially. We did put down a new floor in the bathroom and everything. And out and about in the world, nothing. I got nothing for you at all. Yeah.
I'm doing some continuing education. I'm excited. I signed up to do 3 certification courses. And I'm really excited to like learn about the subject matter and, hopefully do some stuff. What does that say?
It says maybe they're warning people, these animals. That's a little creepy. It's nature acting wild. I mean, like not wild, but like weird and
too friendly.
Everything is out of order. Things that we know. I mean, I could go on and on, but we're not that kind of a channel. Maybe Wheels and I can cover that someday about.
Oh, I like it. I mean, you definitely wouldn't be the only one saying that, but I refuse to live in fear. I have my moments. I mean, it is ups and it's downs. There are some moments in this world where if that mythical button could be pushed, you wouldn't want it anywhere near me, okay? But like, I'm like a high-low person. This week has been pretty good.
Good.
I'm getting $1 more an hour at work.
Congratulations. You know what? Every bit helps.
What?
Every bit helps. Honestly, we're trying to grocery shop on a budget because for a family of 10, I've been spending about at least $600 a week. So
Wow.
I'm trying to shop at only spending $400 a week,
Yeah.
which for a family of 10, it's getting challenging. But it's like every dollar counts, guys.
Hmm.
And, you know,
Yeah.
let's turn our nose up at it.
Last week you named our stream and I loved it. It was gaslighting shouldn't be this expensive at these prices. We never got into it. I got a $700 electric bill. It's like,
Yeah.
guys, no. My house is like 1,600 square feet tops. There's 4 of us. So I'm disputing it because little do they know that this lady right here just recently got a lot more time on her hands. So we're going to dispute it. I'm going to send them $400. I'm going to say, listen, this is $100 for each person that lives in my house. If that's not enough for your electricity, you get to your prices are immoral. And I'm going right to the state. It's going to be great. Okay.
Ooh.
I'll have to pay. I know I'll have to pay a
I'll be
lot.
there with you, but I'm on oil. We're on oil burners. But anyway, we already talked about that, and it's not interesting to people that don't have our problems. So let's get to our Smiley Psy Op.
Smiley. Oh, this is okay. I hope that people. All right. This was. So I went into a little deep dive. I didn't mean to. For fun, Joe and I watched the new. Well, first I'll show you my predictive programming. You want to see my predictive programming that was hanging on my dining room wall? I brought it up. So this is my predictive programming, everyone. Can you see? So this here.
Is that Morrissey?
Yes, this is
the Queen of Diamonds.
Yeah, this is the best singer in the world. The reason why I haven't legally changed my last name because he's our distant cousins. This is my card. He's in the Queen of Diamonds in red, which should be hard. So it's a messed up card. But as you can see on the bottom, it says the Queen is dead.
Ooh, the Queen. Yeah. It was inevitable, Faye.
I know, I don't even care about her. But as you can see, Marcy's rocking an Elvis hairdo. And
that's why I thought it was Elvis for a second.
Yep, Mary and I and our families, we've always been into Elvis. So Joe and I watched the Elvis movie.
Which one?
Wasn't the new one, the brand new one. You haven't heard of the new one?
Yes, yeah. I've seen Prime really pushing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best, but it was pretty good. That Snake Tom Hanks is in it. The guy that played Elvis, he was no Elvis, but he wasn't terrible. He's a very good-looking guy. But what the movie did is made me. I was like, I need to see the real deal now. Like I haven't had some young Elvis in a while, and I'm in the camp that I know it was a psyop, and I can get into that because I did a little bit of a deep dive. But oh my God, he just makes me and a lot of other women out there smile.
Nana, I have to tell you this. This is just occurring to me. Our Nana, when our parents were young and Elvis would be on the TV, and the first time they showed him on TV, he was rocking his pelvis, and Nana was going, woo! Woo!
Oh, Nana, I'm so Nana. I used to sit with Nana, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, that's a handsome man," and
she loved him.
I'm turning into Nana by the day. Thankfully, my husband knows that he's got nothing to worry about. But I love a psyop, especially when it involves a handsome man. So let's go. Show them the picture, Mary, that I emailed you of him.
Sure.
Like this is his mugshot. No, it's complete psyop, guys. I don't know if Elvis was always in on the psyop, but look at this mugshot, ladies. For those who don't know how cute he was. Look at that. So I was smiling all week. He's so cute. Anyway.
My fingernails are gross. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if anybody noticed that.
So it was definitely so. I was watching a lot of old Elvis footage. So Mary, you're a couple years younger than me, but our family, there was one holiday in our family growing up in the neighborhood our parents grew up in that I spent a lot of time in too. But it wasn't Christmas. It wasn't 4th of July. It was, what day was it?
It was Monk Elvis Day, right?
It was Monk Elvis Day. So I just called it Elvis Day. So when we were growing up, there was this park. And at the park on the wall, there was a huge mural of Elvis. It was like the king. And then once a year in the summer, they would have this guy, Monk Pelly, come down. And he was an Elvis impersonator. And so, okay, we all know that women were paid to scream and clap and throw themselves at both Frank Sinatra and the Beatles. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe the first one was paid for Elvis, but Mary, do you remember the crazy women for this impersonator?
Because you remember he would take off his scarves and the ladies would be going nuts and they would try to get his scarves.
You know that he was like getting action that night with these ladies. Like, it wasn't even the real Elvis, but that was literally better than Christmas when I was little. And by the way, I was a little tiny baby in diapers when he was born, but it was because of my family, and he was just so cute. My sister was a big fan. I remember one time I was at like a Spencer's Gift, and they had one of those cardboard cutouts of Elvis in like a gold suit. So I bought it, and of course I put it in her bed. So she got there's Elvis in her bed. But it's just a really interesting story, and I'll just sum it up. Like he was a star in my opinion. He was definitely a psyop, but he made me smile a lot. And Intel used him a lot. Joe and my mom both agreed, and they're both pretty keen on discerning truth. Like, for example, he was drafted. I think it was.
I was about to look that. Okay,
I think it was in 1955, and so I kind of deep dived into it. I'm like, what war was he drafted in? There was nothing going on. But I guess from like 1930 to I think maybe after the Vietnam War, there was just an ongoing draft, supposedly, allegedly.
Yeah.
And they would draft men in, for just fill like empty places. But he was drafted in clearly to like build his all-American image and stuff. And oh my God, he was I have a crush. I know it's bad.
It was to manipulate men into signing up.
Because getting men ready for the Vietnam War.
Well, there was the Korean War before the Vietnam War. So,
what, baby? Are you yelling up here? I don't know who he's talking to. I just heard someone yell. Maybe. Sorry, go ahead, Mary. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. I hope Joe's okay. Do you want to go check on him real quick?
He's all right.
Your husband's downstairs yelling. That sounds kind of scary. But yeah, so I think with him, it was in between like World War II. It may have been the Korean War, right? That he was, but they didn't have a draft.
He didn't go to any war. He didn't go to any war. He met his 14. He met his 14-year-old girlfriend, which is another. I didn't know that like Priscilla was 14 when they met, so that was interesting.
Oh yes.
Then they used him for polio, and like I really do believe that Elvis was like doing a good thing, and he was like, these poor children. And by the way, he's like the only guy I've ever been attracted to with a Southern accent. No offense, okay? And you know what? I know I come off shallow when I come to men, but you know what? What's good?
I know everybody's over it. Like Joe's like, we get it. He was good looking. RT's like, yeah, Elvis was a good looking dude. Did we go a little too much about how good looking it was?
You know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander, okay? Like, come on. Women are objectified all the time. But no, so this is like before STDs, I guess. And he would like walk through his audience, and he would like these women would throw themselves at him, and he would like make out with them all. He'd like make out with one woman, walk a few steps. I know it's gross now to think of. But no, women were crazy about him.
I wonder, okay, go ahead.
So anyway, let me just finish my side. So you have the veterans. He was drafted, and then he got the vaccine. He was the first celebrity to get the polio vaccine, to get any vaccine. And I think at that point he really believed it. I think he was a bit of a patriot, and he didn't know that he was being used. On his last appearance, when he's like really fat and supposedly looking really bad.
Yeah.
I think he's wearing a fat suit. If you look closely, I think he's wearing a fat suit. He's only 42 years old. And at that point in his life, he was worth more dead than alive. And
back up on the fat suit. Let's back up on that. With him doing the silly ninja kicks or the what was he? He was kung fu, right? And he was on stage and he was like very fat. And he's like, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean? And it looked silly. You might be onto something there.
It was like his humiliation ritual. I really believed that him and Priscilla loved each other. And I know that that's a lot. Like Yoko Ono and John Lennon. I don't know. Maybe John loved Yoko, but Yoko was just.
Yeah.
Priscilla has a look in her eyes. Either she's the most amazing actress ever, or she was literally an adoring wife. Like she loved that man. They were only so anyway, and he loved Lisa Marie and he loved her. He was worth more than dead than alive. And it's funny because when you look at all the quick videos of did Elvis really die, they never once mention he was worth more. They're always worth more dead than they are alive. And they never mention him in these so-called in the conspiracy videos. If he was dead, he didn't have to deal with the Colonel anymore or any of his contracts. He was like living in a Severance episode, just like Britney Spears. He was only allowed to play in Vegas. He'd no more Vegas shows over and over again. And his family's set for life. And he goes off and he gets to live quietly for the rest of his life. But that's all. It was a really fun Smiley Psy Op. I really
that is a cute psyop. But I will say with Elvis, the fact that they misspelled his name on his headstone. Always, I've been to Graceland because, again, big Elvis fan when I was young. Before, I don't know, whatever. It's Elvis. Who cares? But yeah, and seeing that they misspelled Aaron on his headstone, it's like that's kind of a weird mistake for a multi-millionaire from back in the day. You know, that they didn't just order a new one. Like, of course, if there was a mistake.
So the one scene where Joe and I were confused, we're like at the very end, they show they're depicting Elvis's last performance. And it was the one we were confused. We were like, is that really Elvis or is that the actor? But I feel like that was like kind of a truth bomb. And it's like either way, so they were both wearing fat suits. And when you wear a fat suit, it's kind of hard to tell. The one I've heard that the one conspiracy is that Elvis was really a woman. I don't buy it at all. Okay, I just don't buy that he was.
Gotta look. My daughter's saying he kind of looks like it. Hold on, let me look at it again.
But there is another really fun conspiracy.
It's the widow's peak, right?
That the other fun conspiracy is that he's actually Donald Trump, and that one I'm open to.
What? No, he looks like Johnny Depp. I think he's from the same stock, the same bloodline as the Depp family.
I know how I feel about Johnny Depp.
I know how you feel. He killed your boyfriend. But he does look like he's from the same bloodline if you look at this dude. I don't get the woman vibe, but I also don't get the trans vibe from Johnny Depp. So maybe my discernment is a little bit off with these.
I don't think Johnny is a trans. I have a few. I'm not really into that. The one that I know Nicole Kidman is. I would bet.
Right.
Oh, I know. Her voice slips when she's acting sometimes back to the male voice. And she has to it figures that her earlobes have to be covered up because she's got like male earlobes that hang down. And you know what? Whatever. But they're sneaks and her father's like a freak. Michelle Obama is one. And I'm convinced that Joel, now it's Osteen. He used to be Joel Olstein, that creepy Christian pastor guy. He was born a woman.
Wheels is saying, wait, I don't usually pay much mind to celebrity conspiracies, but now, I'm telling you, the celebrity conspiracies are amazing. It's almost like they're trying to shit. Oh, Sandra Bullock. There's no doubt with Jenny on this one. And I do like her. I think she's a funny woman. She's way better than these other comedian women. She plays dumb well and she plays confused well. She's funny. But yeah, she's definitely a little too masculine. But there's so many new ones. I mean, last time when we were talking about the trans the trans people in Hollywood, and remember I told you that one of the Bond girls, James Bond girls, she was trans, and I had the article up on my phone forever, but every time my kids used my phone, they were like, "What is this? You're weird. Why are you looking at this?" And I started thinking she was in Playboy, and it wasn't until 2012 that they were like the first trans person is in Playboy. It's like that's a huge insult to this woman who was breaking down all these glass ceilings for the trans agenda. You know what I mean? And being like, "Oh no, this is the first trans one."
Yeah,
Like,
I'm so glad that I'm not part of their club, because like I think that you said a long time. There's no honor among thieves. Do you know what I mean? They're just, I just, as messed up as our little truther families are out there, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
yeah, but so with the Elvis little like psyop and stuff, when you were talking about girls throwing themselves at him and like girls passing out and all this silliness that we saw.
It was real. I saw them, Mary. We saw it firsthand with an impersonator. There was.
I don't know. I can tell you, this is so embarrassing.
I saw it. Go ahead.
I fainted at one concert in my entire life, and I was wearing a huge coat, and it was like we're right in at the front of the floor, and I got way overheated. But what happened was it was an Alanis Morissette concert. So the only concert I ever fainted at was like one of the lamest artists on the planet. But back to Elvis real quick. His movies, Faye, like ultra, like what's the word? They were like very
campy.
No, they were very sexual. I mean, they were skating like.
That was the main psyop. Is
right.
People even with the like the Elvis, the pelvis thing. That was the main psyop, was to sexualize, and the term teenager was just coming out.
Yes.
Speaking of his movies, that was a huge Mandela effect for me while I was doing my little deep dive this week, because one of my favorite movies growing up was Bye Bye Birdie with Anne Margaret. I think that we watched it probably 100 times together. But one thing I always remembered that Anne Margaret was in this movie and this like Elvis-like guy.
Yeah.
Town. But now in my new reality, this never happened before, and believe me, I would have known. Anne Margaret and Elvis were in Viva Las Vegas. I never knew that they were actually in the movie together.
Yeah. No. In my reality, that's how it's always been. Yeah, but so anyway, this whole like the same like Marilyn Monroe type stuff. Like I go back and I watch these old movies thinking it's going to be so wholesome. Yeah. There's a movie with Marilyn Monroe. It's called Some Like It Hot. Mm-hmm. And trying to think, Jamie Lee Curtis's father is in it. So Jason Curtis, whatever his name was, he's in it, and it's two dudes pretending to be women so that so there's a scene where Marilyn Monroe is wearing this dress. It is so provocative. Like even by today's standards, she would have been better off naked than in this dress. And I started like, when I was watching this, I was like, this is so like, I don't know, for the audiences of that time, think of like, that must have been like a huge turn on.
Even in the World's Fairs, and this, I got this from someone else's research, there was Little Egypt, who was very young, and she was one of the exhibits at the World's Fairs, and she was very young, and she introduced the dance, the Hoochie Coochie. And I think the story goes that Mark Twain or some gravel, her name was Little Egypt.
Okay.
Did the Hoochie Coochie at the World's Fairs, and I want to say Mark Twain allegedly passed out because of the Hoochie Coochie dance. So this goes back. I mean, you know that I think that they took over somewhere in 1800s.
You know what? We're talking psyops here.
Yes, we are talking psyops.
You know, in the Disney movie Newsies with Christian Bale, it's a musical. You know that Anne Margaret is in that, and the song she sings is called Hoochie Coochie.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're obsessed with sex. You know, I was listening to one of my favorite streamers, and she's a woman, and she's European, and she was talking about that like procreation actually grosses her out. And you know what? If I wasn't in a loving, long-term monogamous relationship, It is I think that I would be pretty turned off too. Like they've always been, yeah, Grease is soft porn.
Yeah, she just died too, unfortunately.
Yeah, what did I say? We talked about Grease on this. Paint on some clothes, light a cigarette, and be a big slut. And then,
yeah, exactly. And it's Jack Lemmon. Jack Lemmon. So, is it Jason? Whatever, Curtis. And yeah. But anyway.
I didn't know Tony Lee Curtis was Jamie's dad.
What?
I didn't know that Tony Curtis was
Tony.
Yeah, not that it matters.
Thank you. Yeah. No, it was going to bother me. You know me.
Yeah, Elvis was an absolute sexual psyop. There is no doubt about it. But maybe I bet they probably did like Frank Sinatra, because no one's screaming for Frank Sinatra. I don't even understand why that guy's famous. But they pay. It's factual that they paid girls to scream for Sinatra, paid girls to scream for the Beatles. Maybe they paid a few to start with Elvis, but I don't know. He had a spell over women, and you could watch footage. Like he couldn't walk. He was like, he was a walking sex machine for real. You okay, Mary? She's frozen.
Yeah, I'm not okay. I'm not okay over here.
Getting all freezy.
I'm sorry.
All right. Mercury's in retrograde.
No, it's so annoying. I don't know. Should I change it? I'm going to change my internet connection, Faye, because I have to get on another connection because I have no bars here. Mm-hmm. So if you just want to continue to talk, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to talk about? Anything? Elvis?
You want celebrity news for wheels. No, just kidding. Whatever you want. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Wheels. Like, celebrity is, but you know what? It made me smile. It didn't make me. I remember, Mary, one time that you said, we were talking about some modern nightmare that they were telling us, you're like, you were like, back in our parents' day, the psyops were more, I forget the words you used, but, and I mean, it's not wholesome. We can see what they're doing, but, it was just more enjoyable. And his music he was very talented, in my opinion, for a singer. He had a really nice voice, but his music was very simple. Like, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Like,
which was a cover. A lot of his music also was covers.
Yeah. Well, but he really.
Anyway, I'm already on the 5G network, so I have no idea why I'm buffering.
In my humble, and see, I think that he was like even good looking, like up into his early 40s, and I even liked when he was in Vegas and he like started doing the cape, and it was like overnight. That's why I believe he's wearing a fat suit right before his death was fake, because they were really laying it on thick that he looked bad. But I really, he found himself at the end when he sang spirituals, and he was a very spiritual person, allegedly. His mom was too, and I love hearing him sing a spiritual. He was good. He loved his fans. I think he was ready to fake his death and move on, but you could tell he put his heart and soul into every performance he ever did, like for real. So that was just my fun psyop. I know, guys, sometimes we have to shut our brains off. I do recommend the movie. It was a good like little 2.5 hour escape. It was good. You watched a couple oldies this week, you were saying, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the genre I watch is very different than yours. I watched Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which is Betty Davis. Mm-hmm. When it's amazing. Can I just say this? And I know that this is kind of fluff night.
Yeah. It is kind of
Joan Crawford. Yeah. So when I'm watching Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Betty Davis in that movie is amazing. She's a fantastic actress. And just out of curiosity, I looked up to see how old she was in that movie. Mm-hmm. She's the same age in that movie that who's the one? Jennifer Lopez is now. So, I mean, say what you will about cosmetic surgery and all that kind of stuff. Betty Davis in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane is the same age as J-Lo now. Crazy.
I'm totally with you.
The other movie I watched, I watched, and then I had to watch Mommy Dearest, of course, because Joan
Classic.
Crawford, and that movie's hilarious. And Joan Crawford, yeah, I don't believe any of it because of her daughter. Her daughter, who didn't get anything from her inheritance, wrote that. So take it with a grain of salt. But then last night, Faye, I watched a movie called Big Eyes. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. It's this artist from the 1970s. She used to do all this artwork, and it was always children, and they had huge eyes. If you saw it, you
I
would
would
remember
recognize it.
everybody had that poster. And how her husband was like taking credit for her art, and he made her keep producing them until they became kitsch. And then she eventually left him, and she had to sue him for the rights of her own art. Great movie. I highly recommend.
Big
But
Eyes, yeah, I'll check it out. I still have to watch my Gone with the Wind.
oh, it's so good.
But then after Elvis, I was like, no, I need the real deal. So yeah, and I've been just rewatching The Office, and just I've been, with the kids and kind of like looking around at my empty house, like I pray that they're okay, and they're fine, I guess. It's very weird having the house to myself again. What's going on?
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on over here. They're talking about most of his music was a cover. All right, thanks, Joe. Understandable face. Sometimes I stumble upon one. It just jumped. That's a little interesting. Apollo 11 and JFK and MLK and Bobby Kennedy were major psyops from the 1960s. And the 1960s, there was. So I think one of the United States of America started going down the psyop road, I would say starting with Pearl Harbor, and then it started going hard. And if you look at when was Pearl Harbor, 42? Is that right, Brody? Fact checker. Anyway, around 1940, December 7th, 1942, I want to say. Anyway, after that, the psyops kept coming. As soon as every house, or pretty much every house, had a radio in their home, the psyops really kicked into high gear. And if you look at the Apollo 11, JFK, MLK, Bobby Kennedy, who was assassinated on TV. Anyway, so many psyops, so little time, as well as Woodstock. I did not know that.
Woodstock had chemtrails over it. I'm listening. I'm just going over here for a second.
I think all that stuff is added. Oh, thank you. 1941. Okay, so that was Pearl Harbor. But yeah, and then like the propaganda machine, not only the propaganda machine kicked into high gear, but there was a lot more psyops. It seems like that just started coming into everybody's home. And there's a movie. Crap. I'm talking a lot about movies, but now you have this on my brain. It's a movie, and it's from, I would say, 39. No, it had to be later. So it was, we'll just say mid-40s. And it's this guy, and he only has like one arm, and he's Mike. What's the name of the movie that I'm talking about? Okay, put that in chat when I'm done. But it's this guy with one arm, and he goes into a bar, and he's all kinds of like pro-America and stuff. And there's a guy there, and the guy says to him, Pearl Harbor was an inside job. We knew it was coming. And the guy with the one arm's like, you bastard. And he gets up and he beats the crap out of the guy. Again, putting to the American public, don't question it. You're going to get, don't. But yet at the same time, the reveal is in it that they put that in a major motion picture at that time. So I'm getting all worked up.
You know how I feel. Who are these people? Whenever I'm listening to any of this stuff, I'm just yelling, who are these people? But I know the answer. It's the weed and the tears, and that's just the long and short of it. It's just crazy.
Oh, what? It sounds like the start of a joke. A one-armed man walks into a bar, but yeah, the joke's on the American public back in the 40s. Right. And then we have do you ever wonder why the old 1940s Christmas music really hits you in the feelers? They really hit you in the feelers because I'm thinking that because of what the country was going through at that time, the frequency all this music was at was a calming or numbing frequency.
I
And
probably. I honestly think that's why they're putting this Elvis movie out now, because they know it gave me the feels a little bit. Even though I'm like, oh, that was a psyop. That was a psyop. They used him for that. This, oh, that's a fat suit. It's still, with everything going on in this world today, it was like, oh, I remember when psyops were fun loving. You know what I mean? Like a fun loving psyop. Oh, the good old days.
I know, such an innocent time. I mean, and we're talking about growing up in the 80s, but you want to talk about the psyops. I mean, we had our own that nowadays it's just normal. You think about like things like Joy, Boy George, and that whole like agenda, the big hair. Yeah, Bing Crosby Christmas album. He's White Christmas. Is he the same? Yeah, it is. But anyway, it's like there's.
If I do not like, I only like religious Christmas music. It's got to be Oh Holy Night, Silent Night, and that's all. I don't like the one. My least favorite is it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for kids to go back for school
to start again. Yeah.
Shut up. I looked out the window 10 times when my kids were coming home today. but I'm a big,
I do love. Oh, so the name of the movie is called Best Years of Our Lives. Again, a very old movie that I actually sat through, and I was like, "What is this crap?" He's beating up the one guy who happens to be speaking truth at a bar. But I love the song White Christmas to this day because it was written from the perspective of the men that went off to war. And we know it was a ritual event and stuff like that. And it really breaks my heart to think like of my son overseas in a land he doesn't know, at Christmas time.
They're not getting my son, I'll tell you that. Or
my dog. God, help us. So yeah, that's that. I forget what my other point was.
That was one thing that Elvis said. I watched a video and I don't know how much he knew, because I do the same thing with River. I'm like, oh, he's so cute. But he was really young, and he's like, what did he say with his like Elvis voice? And he's just like, well, and he's like, he's like, you can't fight him. So if you get drafted, you better just go do your best. And it was just like, it's just a big psyop for drafting in the military. My dad was drafted, and I used to say, I was so mad. I'm still so mad about it, especially the way he was treated in the hospital. And I used to say, Dad, I'd be like, Dad, why don't you and other Vietnam vets class action the government? Class action them. It was all based on, because you know why? Because my dad wouldn't mind me saying this. He was on the take. He's like, the government takes care of me. Don't worry. And he,
I don't know. I'm from a family of draft dodgers. Not that I'm proud of it. I remember one 4th of July.
You are? Yeah.
So yeah, one 4th of July, we're at my father, so my dad's side of the family, and they started talking about the draft, and my mother was very traumatized by Faye's dad having to go to Vietnam. Not more than your dad was, Faye. I'm just saying
it was her baby brother. She loved my dad.
It was a very upsetting experience. And so they started talking about it. And I remember my mother standing up and not yelling, but speaking very loudly at everybody. And
your mom had an opinion?
Yeah. And she got in her car and she left. And I was like, what the heck was that? Later, I found out that, yes, because my grandfather was a lifer in the Navy, all his sons got out of the draft. And my mother was pissed because, I mean, it's such that song, I Ain't No Senator's Son by Creedence Clearwater. Yeah. Right there. Yeah, my dad's brothers all got out of the draft. My mother, her family was nobody. They were an Irish immigrant and I think a second generation immigrant get together. They have a large family, and there was no out for your father. So
Yeah.
it caused a big problem.
It was eugenics, and we can't expand on it sometimes, wheels, but it was human sacrifice. I mean, I know. Here goes shallow Faye again with the men, but I would look at the pictures of my dad with the guys in his platoon, and like they had the best of the best over there. Like, and that's why I don't have a racist bone in my body, because like my dad, they were black, they were white, they were all together. This is like during segregation. One thing I noticed, and I don't have any problem with small hats or that tribe. I really don't. I don't point my fingers at Jesuits or anyone. We got to point. It's sin. Okay, I've said from the beginning, in March 2020, I said, if we were moral people, this couldn't happen. If we were moral people, they couldn't get away with this bull crap. It's sin is the problem, but people like to point fingers. So I don't blame the group that wears the little hats on their heads. Okay, but that said, my dad grew up in a very wealthy town. Like Mary said, their family was nobodies, Irish immigrant, single mother, mind you, okay, when he got the draft notice. Growing up and meeting so many people in that town, and they were my age, and their fathers were my age, again, from that tribe, that small hat tribe, as some people call them. And their fathers were all my father's age, and none of them served in the war. They all had some reason why the draft didn't apply to them, and I'm talking like big money and some not so much big money, but it was just that tribe. And I said this to my father once, and I was like, I never met anyone from that tribe that served, and he was like, he's like, not my friend Jeffrey Goldblum. He like just said some name.
Yeah, because the town you grew up in, I mean, our parents kind of grew up in a very Catholic area, but then there's Newton on the Hill, which is where all the very, very wealthy doctors, lawyers, connected people lived. And my mother, and I'm sure your dad too, Faye, I remember going to the Vietnam War Memorial, and my mother being like, oh, here's so-and-so, here's so-and-so from Little Italy of Newton, but
I loved it.
Yeah, the more powerful people.
It was it was a really, but I loved that neighborhood back in the day. It was like a neighborhood, like that was where we had Elvis Day, in that neighborhood. It was a very cool neighborhood. The fire hydrants were painted the Italian flag colors. It was a very special place, and it's a lot different now, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun there growing up.
I didn't know Jenny had children. Oh, you learn something new every day.
I heard once.
But anyway,
I hope you're doing well, Jenny. She was in the hospital last week.
I know. I saw her on early on one of Ray's lives, and I did ask her how she was doing, but then I eventually fell asleep. I don't know if she ever answered me, but yeah, Jenny, how are you feeling? We're very, I said a prayer. I said 2 prayers for you.
The Ray's channel got terminated. He's on so late for me. I have to get caught. Ray's channel got terminated.
Again?
I think he's on with Ceiling Fan Man tonight, though, about the moon landing. My favorite.
He was talking the other night. He was talking the other night about chemtrails. What night was that? All these days and nights blend together for me. But anyway, it was recently. Have you guys seen? Oh, Jenny. All right, I'm not going to put that up. I didn't know that, Jenny. So with weather manipulation, in the news a lot recently, they're talking about cloud seeding, right? So China was like the Thames River or something. It's drying up. So China goes ahead and they cloud seed and they get the rain that they need. But then guess what happens? India, their monsoon season wasn't enough to produce enough rice. And then in Pakistan, they had major flooding. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if we don't, or they, the powers that be, don't have as much control over the weather than we give them credit for.
Well, you know that I've seen orbs. I've seen things disappear. I don't think that human beings have the capability for what that program would entail. There's not enough planes. There's not enough chemicals. I don't know I don't know what it is, but I've seen things that are not human related to that in front of my eyes. I love Ceiling Fan Man when I met him in I hope he wouldn't mind me saying. He kind of agreed. He's talked about and he's talked about it on his channel. Like sometimes the planes are see-through, or they'll have married. They'll have one wing, and why are they all silver? I mean, for me, my mind's completely open. Are these angels that are like cloaking? I don't know. Very bad angels that ruin my sky.
Yeah, all I know is that I do believe in the chemtrail agenda, the aluminum, barium, strontium, all that crap that they're putting into the upper atmosphere. But recently, I've been kind of entertaining the idea that maybe they are trying to combat some sort of they either don't want us to see something that's going on up there, or they are trying to manipulate the weather, maybe cool down the earth, trying to keep the radiation of the earth in to heat up the earth. I don't know what they're doing. But the bottom line is, it's like then you have people like Klaus Schwab, who wants to block, he's like, let's block out the sun. And then you have Bill Gates being like, yeah, you know what? We need to block out the sun. It's like, why are you guys so concerned about the sun? I don't think they're trolling us. I don't think they're trying to act like Mr. Burns.
I think Bill Gates was born a woman, and in my opinion, but that's whatever. I don't even know if Klaus Schwab is a real person. I mean, his alien suits and
him and is it Rothschild? They're not real. Is it Rothschild? I'm thinking. No, it's Kissinger. That guy. He's not real either. They're flesh suits. Absolutely fake.
It's something else. It really is something else what's going on in this world today. And I remember when you were the one that told me about the fun times up in the sky. We've talked about it before, and I had what is the normal reaction. I didn't pretend I didn't see it. The next day, I screamed and looked out my window and ran, and I was like, "Ah, why are they doing this?" Woke up to a horror movie, and then my beautiful cousin and her sisters, and we all had an intervention because Faye was going to be in a mental institution, and I literally fought being put into a mental institution when I found out, because the world back then, I was like, wow, they're spraying the sky with God knows what and blocking out. Yeah, the world just kind of jumped the shark for me a little bit.
Yeah.
After years and years and years, I would have never had kids had I known that. Just so we know that. I found out after kids. That was the first. I would have never had kids. It was so evil to me, still is. But I guess after years and years and years, you get adjusted to it. And then with the whole medical psy op that we just underwent, and what they did to the kids, that was the second. Like, this is just this world. This world has nothing for me. I want out.
I got two things to say on that.
Yeah.
First of all, no, three things. I didn't know that about lithium. That's fine. The other thing is, I liked what Ray closed with when he jumped on with us last week. I would have kids because I want to stick it to them. I want to stick it to the global elite. If you listen to the way my kids talk, they're not falling for anything. And what's the worst they can do? They can either steal my children's soul, which means I failed as a parent, or they kill them. What difference does it make? But last thing.
What difference does it make? Morrissey sings that.
Last thing, though. Hold on. I said three things. Hold on.
I'm a weakling. Because I'm a weakling. You're stronger than me. Go ahead.
Is that why I'm smoking right now? I'm so strong. Wheels says.
Go ahead. What?
Wheels says he wants to listen to Ceiling Fan Man and learn a bit more about the supernatural theories. Talk about the clouds, the cleanup clouds again, because I saw them again the other day, Faye, and I was like, oh my God, why aren't more people talking about this? I feel like the whole silifs, silts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about
air spirits. They're air spirits. I don't, one of my theories is that we're actually the spirit ones of us, the ones that can see. There is an element of NPCs, and that's for sure. I mean, just for lack of better words, I don't know what they are, but they're not the same as we are. But I think that we are actually the fallen angels, and I think we're the fallen angels that were like the infantry, and we get a second chance. And the 1%, they're not getting any more chances, and we just followed blindly, and God's giving us a chance to come back. I remember I was talking to Joe and Christian about this in the car late one night, and I was telling them about my theory about we're the fallen angels, and we were listening to a podcast, and I'm like, we weren't the guys in charge. We were just the infantry. And like within the next like 5 minutes, the person speaking was like, like in the infantry. And I was like, whoa, because that's not a word you hear every day in conversation. And I felt like it was a confirmation for me. But I also believe I'm a strong believer in elemental spirits. I believe that okay, I'm going to be honest. My husband and I, I'm not going to say that we did something, but we partook in a fungus that grows, and some people call it magic. And I believe I saw his true form, and everything was water, everything, including me. And I believe that I'm like some sort of water spirit, but he was fire, and the fire just comes off him. And I don't know, I don't even know where I'm going, but it was a fun night. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I just muted again. Or maybe I didn't unmute after I coughed. No, you're going somewhere, Faye, and you're talking about elemental spirits. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm following you. So then you had an experience with elements, with individual people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel I'm in the camp that we're eternal. We've talked about this. We were somewhere before this. There's no doubt in my mind. I just think that that it's connected to the horoscopes and everything about where we are in the categories we're in. For whatever reason, I am water and my husband is fire, and it's just something I've been shown.
That's funny.
Have you ever got like a sense? Like, tell me, like
I don't believe that. I don't believe that we existed somewhere before. I don't agree with everything you say, but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting if if we die, when we die, which is going to happen someday. Yeah, we're gonna have all the answers. It's not worth arguing about or
yeah. I would never argue with anybody. I don't even usually
I'm fine. I'm fine with you, having these beliefs. But I will say, as far as elementals, very dangerous, because I don't know, not very dangerous. They can be dangerous. Certain elementals are dangerous, like the green.
Absolutely.
There's the green elemental. You want to stay away from that. My daughter's getting freaked out. She knows what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'll have to do more research on it, but it's basically like, what was it? It was like the earth. It wasn't the earth element, but it's one of the elementals is super dangerous. But it's interesting because if you look into birth signs or believe any of that, Mike is fire and I'm air. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm always stoking the fire. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I believe that. I think
my Joe gets heated, and he'll admit it. Like he's a typical Aries, and an Aries character. One trait of an Aries is they'll blow up. They're on fire. They'll blow up, but they never remember, and they never like. I had the kids had to get used to it. I'm like, no, he's not mad. He's fine. Like I really feel like because I'm water. Like if he's upset, I don't know. Like just like my touch can calm him down, like if I touch his arm and stuff, like he's upset. I mean, I would like to think so.
No, I like that. I like that because Mike's a Leo, which is also a fire, and who also thinks like they're in complete control and blah blah blah.
I love but yet
Leo. But yet there's a confidence there that needs to constantly be reassured, 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 reassured. So there's an insecurity in the confidence. And I think that's where, like, we help each other out. He needed an air element to help him reach his potential in life.
Yeah.
And I need something to feed because, you know, that gets into personality and stuff like that.
You know, at the end of the day, Mary, we're very fortunate to be married for as long as we have to the same people. I know you didn't want to get into it, but like that video with Paul Joseph Watson.
Sure.
Like, the dating world is just a mess. We don't even have to get into why, but like I can't even imagine like dating nowadays. I wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't even. So I'm just we're lucky, we're fortunate to be comfortable in our relationships, you know.
Oh, I think we're going to get deep into that video because I just made my daughter leave the room. I'm like, you have to leave. Not appropriate for children.
Oh, really? I'm making my son watch that video.
Yeah, but your son, my daughter, almost 16 years old, homeschooled. She's not ready for that. I think she would lose faith in men if she knew.
Well, my daughter is back at school and in Spanish class. I don't think she would mind me saying this. You know, they're going to be doing a science seating, and she just said the boys sit in the back, and she's just like, they're pervs, and all they do is talk about sex and stuff. And I'm like, I said, well, that's how they were when I was in school too.
She's a freshman.
Yeah, but I can't even. Yeah. I said, but you know what? But when I was in high school, the problem was that most kids weren't given free pornography machines when they're in third grade. I remember my son, we have an in-ground pool, and the unthinkable. I remember when these kids started getting phones, and he would invite kids over that he's no longer friends with. Like I think between me, my husband, and Owen Benjamin, we've scared the crap out of Dorian. Thank you, Owen. You'll always have my support for that. But it would be burning hot, and like kids that he was friends with, we'd invite them over to swim. And I'm like, when you remember when you were a kid, Mary, when it was hot, no one's saying no to a pool. But these kids were opting to stay home by themselves. I wonder why. They all got phones and they were looking at things. And I remember talking to my sister. And Jorian did get like distant from these kids who were doing that stuff. And he basically told me, I didn't end up telling their parents because I think that they're in the group of parents that think it's normal, you know.
Sure.
And I thought a lot about what we were talking about last week, and I'm trying to just work on acceptance that I'm not in their new normal. Like, they think they're good parents, Mary, because they have the nice car and the good vacation, and that's it, you know. It's just, and there's these parents that were giving their kids phones in third grades think they're good parents for giving them phones. It's just we're just different. We're not going to see eye to eye.
Yeah. I don't know. I have toilet paper.
I am so hot. Why am I so hot?
I don't know. A big, massive blob of toilet paper.
Are you okay?
No, I've had this cold forever. I've had a chest cold, and it has nothing to do with smoking. So nobody be a smart ass and be like, quit smoking. And I had cold for at least 2 weeks now, I want to say. But hold on. The world our children are growing up in the world that these adults are creating. And I'm not as quick to blame men, that kind of Paul Joseph Watson. He was kind of going down that road like it's men's fault and blah, 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 blah. But these women are making bank. Do you blame them? I've said this before and I stand by it. If it was that easy, like if I was, I don't know, 20 years younger, maybe more.
Oh, Mary, there's a market for hot moms, and you throw in you have 8 kids, you get some fans. No, Mary, there's a pervert for everyone. Like, I'm serious, like everyone has a market.
Right. This is.
You could show you can marry. You could show your feet. Like these people are weird. I don't know.
Oh my God. When I was watching my 600-pound life, trying to get motivated to like get off my ass. But
Just
anyway,
call me. I motivate Mary. Just call me if you need motivation. I'm very good. I half the time when I motivate other people, I end up working out again. I'm a very good motivator. You know that. Call me. Go ahead.
anyway, I was watching this show called My 600-Pound Life, and in it there were two women from, I think it was like the first and second season, and then I stopped watching it, that were fetish eaters that had OnlyFans. And these are very, very big women. And they would be eating a cake and be like, oh, this cake is so good. Thank you so much for recommending that I eat this cake. And like, they would make money. These very, very large people. So you're right. There is somebody out there willing to pay to see weird shit.
There is.
Weird.
We've talked about it. I'm sorry. We're a nation of perverts, and I'm sorry. Like I you know how I feel, and I really like that Paul Joseph Watson. He's very mainstreamy for me. He likes Trump.
Yeah.
But I like that he's talking about it because a lot of the young guys think he's cool, and he is cool. I like he's cool. He's British, and I like his style that he didn't mention. The bitch who died yesterday. Instead, he's like posting a video of that. So like, good. I like that. Well, I can't. But yeah, it is a simppocalypse, and I don't want. A horror-pocalypse. What?
It's a horror-pocalypse. Stop putting yourself out there. Start being the delicate sex once again. Guard your dignity with honor.
From Priscilla Presley. Like Priscilla, she
was 14 though, Faye. That's kind of weird.
I know. This was like all news to me. And I guess they got married when she was 16, but she was a delicate little flower. And let me tell you, Elvis liked them feminine. But because he had his mafia there, the Memphis mafia, who were all living off him. I know it's bros before hoes, but they were always at his house. Like Priscilla, what's up? You okay? Okay. Priscilla wasn't even allowed, quote unquote, to come downstairs unless she was like dolled up. She wasn't allowed to like walk around in a robe in her own home and stuff. But you know what? Like Elvis loved. I believe Elvis. I think he's still alive. But they probably
allowed. That's the problem. That's what I have a problem with. Is it allowed? Because I like to, freshen up before I go downstairs 2 a.m. for my entire family. They don't need to see that, but if it was a rule in my house, that's a little dysfunctional.
Yeah. Well, it was a different time back then. And I don't know what was going on there, but he was 10 years older than him. And she was 10 years older than her. So that can't be cool. It would be like my daughter's 14, and it would be like who's big with the kids now? Like she meets Harry Styles, and he takes like a shine to my 14-year-old daughter, and then within the year, I'm letting her move in with a rock star that's 25 years old.
I will say, from what I heard,
and sorry, one last thing with the Psy Op. Her parents were. Her father was like an officer in the Air Force, so they're military.
Yes, this is what I was going to say. From what I heard, so she was German, and Elvis was based in Germany, and her father was a ranking military official. But from what I heard, they had to get married because her family was all about courtship, and they wouldn't allow her with him unsupervised and things like that. So maybe Elvis was just chomping at the bit. He was like, all right, let me marry your daughter now, please. So I don't know. We can't make everything.
In my opinion, I watched a lot of and I know that everything can be CGI'd. I'm not fooled by anything on this ring. In my humble opinion, their love was real. Like I watched like a lot of family movies. Like they really, really love each other. It's really, really, really sweet. And then you've got like the Memphis Mafia boys being like, one of them was like, he didn't want to marry Priscilla. It's like, you know what? Go find Elvis's sloppy seconds, you losers. Like they were such hangers on. Like, you know what I mean? They were such hangers on. His Memphis Mafia friends.
Anyway, so you and I have about 20 minutes left.
Oh,
my gosh, Jerry Lee Lewis. Okay, so that's the Fireball or whatever the hell. You remember him?
Yes.
Great Balls of Fire. He married his 13-year-old cousin. I don't know, different
and
time.
I knew that, and I always was like, I thought that was scandalous. And again, I'm an Elvis fan going way back. I did the inventory of Elvis merch I have in my house right now. I have a magnet of Elvis on my fridge. I have 2 Elvis dolls. And my Elvis sunglass case. Remember, Mary? I told you when we were doing the River guy, because they wanted River to disappear. They could have made money off of that guy too, but they have been making money off Elvis. I have 4 pieces of Elvis merchandise. I actually looked.
I don't think I have a single one. I'm asking my daughter who came back. I don't think I have a single. If anybody wants to jump in and chat real quick, we got 20 minutes left, and then I have to go paint my living room.
What color are you painting it?
It's supposed to be, so we have like leather and dark wood, so I wanted almost like an oxblood red.
Ooh.
But it looks like lollipop red. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, you're going dark. I'm lightening everything up.
Yes. I'm trying to get warm because forever my entire downstairs of my house has been the same color. It's basically the color of my walls, which you guys have seen. It's a very light yellow. Only because when you have little kids, you're not repainting every room well, you are, but I want to make it easy that I could repaint the kitchen, the living room, the staircase, everything just to freshen it up the same color. So now that they're getting older, I'm trying to add a lot of warm tones and, just a change because I've been.
You're a go-getter. I've only done 1 room so far. I've got to do more. Doing, getting the kids settled at school,
Oh, Jenny, I was hoping you would jump in. It's all right that you don't feel well. I'm sorry.
Prayers for Jenny. I hope you'll have to tell me because I can't see the chat. I can't multitask, but I can. I have decided there is one area I do multitask.
What?
I work out all day. I park far away. I take the stairs. I work 3 hours in the morning. Basically, you could count 2 of those hours as exercise. That's one area that I can multitask. I wear ankle weights on my feet all day at work. But you're not thinking of doing anything. You know what I mean? That's it's just second nature. What's your face? I'm not. What?
Overachiever. We went to
area. It's the one area.
You talked about going to a secondhand store and looking at clothing. I did the same thing and literally my arm got tired flipping through dresses. And then I made pizza dough and my arm was freaking tired. I don't know. I do need to work out more, but I don't know. Maybe I need some wrist weights or something. Women back in the day must have been jacked.
Who must have been jacked?
Women back in the day. Wheels can't either. It's fine. Wheels can't jump in either. Women back in the day making the bread and working
I want to learn to make bread, Mary. My mom, do you make bread? I want to make bread. It's been like a dream. I want my kids to come home from school and I want fresh baked hot bread. Should I get a bread maker?
No, I think bread makers are overrated. Just follow the directions, put it in your oven with the oven light on, let it rise a couple hours. You might have to, and then they call punch it out. And then sometimes you have to put it back in the bowl and let it have a second rise. And then you punch it out again and you form it. And it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
It's time consuming.
Tony's Coffee House. Hey.
Tony's Coffee House.
Welcome.
Who's that?
A new person. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Jenny wants to get back into power walking again. I miss it because it made me feel really good. But I'm scared to go out because of the spells. I'm afraid to go out power walking because I'm afraid of getting too far from my house. And then what if I get tired? Do I call for a ride? I mean,
no neighbors.
I know, right? My daughter gets me. So when you say, anyways,
You and
Faye,
your daughter are very. You and your daughter are very cute together. Lena and I are very close too, but you and your daughter are close.
yeah, we're very close. She's actually my biggest supporter. She almost every week she's here. She's sitting on my bed when I'm talking to you guys. She does want to come on sometime and
Well,
hopefully.
yeah, we'll talk about it. I'd love to get maybe when you guys come up on a Friday, maybe she can talk my daughter into it, or at least my son or something.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, kids that have been raised by truthers. And I think people will be very surprised at their perspectives of the world because it's not, cookie cutter of what we have been saying for years.
Oh,
They have a different spin. And on some things, they go way deeper. And then on other things, they're like, no, I disregard that. It's very interesting. And I'm sure your kids are the same way.
my kids are very I know the wheels turning in my son's head. My son is enjoying his comeback. I gave Dorian and my daughter both permission to absolutely use Robert Greene's laws of power on not only the other kids but also their teachers. I said these people have been suffocated for 2 years. They're in a different reality. I'm sending you back just for socialization so you don't have to listen and hear me all day. But you have complete, I don't want you to hurt or steal anyone, but you can absolutely manipulate these idiots. And my
Yeah.
son's already playing it like a game. I can see it in his eyes. I know him. My son's plan, and as long as they don't pull anything back, my son's plan is to graduate with honors, to be the comeback kid, to prove them all wrong. He's like his mama. Prove them all wrong.
You know what I will say that's awesome about being homeschooled, and I've seen it with my children, but before my children, I saw it with my sister's children. So my sister, she has 8 boys that were very involved in sports, but yet at the same time, they were homeschooled. Speaking of what you just said, by the way. And with my 2 oldest so far, they're in sports and they're homeschooled. It's almost like my kids and my sister's kids became almost popular because people didn't have access to them all day at school. And it's almost like when they saw it, it was like, oh, do you know so and so? And it's like, yeah, I know him. It's like, oh, how do you know? He's homeschooled.
My daughter confided in me, because we went to a family party, and she's like, Mom, she's like, I like your side of the family better. Like, the truth is, Mary, is that we're hilarious. And being around my in-laws, and Mary, I'm not even close to the funniest one in our family. I'm not even in the top 10 of the cousins.
Same with me.
My in-laws think I'm hilarious. And they just like, you don't even, I'm not that funny. They think I am. But that's why your kids are perfect. I know the look in Dorian's eyes, and I told him, I'm like, when you go back, you're gonna have the best of both worlds. You're gonna have that air of mystery as kind of like the new kid. Where has he been? But we know him. You know what I mean? He's definitely enjoying himself right now. He's just kind of yeah, I'm back.
All right. What? I'm sorry. I've been trying so hard not to cough. All right.
Why are you going to paint your house on a Friday night?
What?
Why are you painting your house on a Friday night?
Why? What am I supposed to do? This is my big night out, Faye.
Well, I'm hoping I'm going to try my darndest. I know, right? What are we supposed to do? That's a good question. Unique, right? I lent Unique about half my closet full of dresses. I'm like, take them out, let them go do something, because I'm not.
Let them go do something. Totally. I'm a homebody. I'm very much a homebody. Yeah. Where am I going? I'm going nowhere. So I'm going to be productive.
We're going to be doing all our house projects this weekend, so this is my downtime, and
All right, you have something else you want to talk about? It can wait.
I mean, I always love talking to you. I mean, wasn't there other things we wanted to talk about?
I want to talk more, or am I getting redundant? I don't know. I don't know.
What? I'll tell you if you're being redundant. What?
About the weather manipulation and things like that, because I feel like, we're, as a truth community, we're very, very hung up on stuff that we knew 10 years ago. And the whole agendas are progressing.
Yeah.
But I mean, what more is there to say other than it's like mainstream and,
Well,
and
I'm just so busy reading all my apology letters from all the people that called me
I know.
crazy when I tried to point out the weather manipulation. And now that it's been admitted to and it's openly talked about on the news, I'm inundated with these apologies. They'll never admit they're wrong. You're never going to get an apology.
Hold on. Is this dude really about to go into the gym? Because that's impressive. I just redid my gym membership. I shut it down in 2020 and I finally just went back and renewed it. And I haven't been back yet.
I'm obsessed with working out. I am. I'm sorry. And I was an exercise instructor for years, but less is more. I swear I'm in better shape now than when I was teaching 10 classes a week. My exercise is so focused. I feel like it's the one thing I can control. There's an area in my body I don't like. If I'm just consistent, first of all, you got to work out the whole body. The problem is, the biggest problem I ever saw with clients was like, okay, for example, I don't like my stomach. So what moves can I do for my stomach? And they would just want to do their stomach.
Right.
It's like, you have to understand that your body is a whole. And I had to learn this because I used to not like the back of my legs. So I would overwork my hamstrings. It took me like in my early 20s to learn, like, you have to do full body. You know what I mean? If you want your stomach to be thin, you've got to do your back. You've got to, now I'm just kidding. I'll get on my soapbox, but you go who was it? Call for Zero? Going into the gym.
Freaking going to the gym.
Call for Zero. You know what the best workout album is? Is AWOL Nation. That's a really good workout album if you want to get going. Like,
I'm going to apologize right now, but I feel like Imagine Dragons is really fun to work out to. And the only reason why I know Imagine Dragons is I have a 14-year-old son, but they're fun. They make you want to move,
You know who was fun? It was Elvis Presley. I used to use him in that song with my spin classes. What? No, spin. Lord Almighty, hear my temperature rising. That was a good one in spin class. I like have them moving around and
that other song remix, A Little Less Conversation. Great remix.
My sister, that was like the best thing that ever happened to my sister. We were in Mexico and we made them play it. I told my sister to call in tonight because I knew she would have some opinions on the King.
She doesn't even know where to find it.
We're talking about the King.
Hold on. One of my favorite songs, and I know that's so typical, but
no, love, you can always call in.
I just feel like that is the truther song right now.
Oh no, he's a truther. The last song on that album is called Knights of Shame. Not Knights as in Darko, but Knights as in Knights Templar. It's 15 minutes long, and I swear to you, it was the most. But Sail was my most popular song and most requested song in spin. My second most requested song in spin was that song Knights of Shame. Once I introduced them to people, they were like, Faye, play it again. It's a great workout album. And he's a truther. I think he's Christian too. I saw him live. It was a good show. He was really good.
I miss it's tomorrow then. It's the 10th.
What's that?
I just realized I'm hearing fireworks, and I'm listening to you, but I'm hearing fireworks. I just realized that today was our town's 150th anniversary, and I forgot to take the kids to the fireworks. So now I feel like crap.
150 years, huh?
Yeah, we used to be part of Dedham, but then we broke off from Dedham, and some dude left his plow and. Bernie thinks that's.
We were part of Salem. It was this whole area. Our town, Danvers, and Salem were all one town. So,
Yeah, same with here. Everything was Dedham or Turtle Island before Dedham. All right, let's wrap it up. We got a couple minutes to final thoughts.
I always love talking to you, Mary, and thank you guys for putting up with my fluffy celebrity psyop. But I do.
It was nice.
It is nice, and you know what? It did make me smile, and you know, especially for you ladies out there, go revisit Elvis in his day. Like, ooh, they don't make him like that anymore, guys. They really don't. I know it was a psyop, but ooh, he had an effect on women. Go ahead, that's it.
Yeah, maybe he was lab grown. I don't know. He definitely did. So my final thought is
his younger pictures are kind of sus. I don't think he was lab. Oh, can people be lab grown?
I don't know. It depends on how crazy you want to get. Right. But yeah, my final thought is it was nice actually, because Faye and I think everybody knows we can go down the rabbit hole on any truther thing, Mandela effect, chemtrails, JFK, the moon landing, you name it, we can. And it was nice tonight just to have kind of a fun night.
Yeah, and the truth is, I didn't know. I never researched. As much as of a fan I am, like I kind of forgot about Elvis. I was like, oh, I'm kind of like, you know, growing up now. And the movie made me kind of revisit an oldie but a goodie. But I'm telling you, I want to hear, Mary, just promise me before we talk again that you will re-look at just go to YouTube and say Elvis's last performance and tell me that's not a fat suit. I'm telling you.
All right. I'm going.
The week before, he didn't look like that. And remember, this is one thing they always say in these mainstream conspiracy videos. These people are worth more dead than alive. They never mention that.
All right. I will actually send it to me. Find what you want me to see and send it to me. Or have maybe Joe can text it to me, or I could do it myself, I guess.
But I think I'm getting a new phone. Leave me alone with my iPhone 6.
Oh, Faye. You and your sister with your flip phones.
They need to pay me to have one of these things. I will never.
I know.
All right.
I know. You know, the only reason why I ended up getting a smartphone is I reached into my bag. My phone was ringing. I reached into my bag at hockey practice in front of all the other moms. It must have been a social day for me because either I was up in the bleachers by myself or I was talking to the other moms. Pulled up my phone, flipped it open. It was my husband, and they literally started laughing at me. So I felt so stupid.
I remember that. I remember that. And I remember telling you that that's a flex. You know what? I don't really pick my kids up from high school because it's literally like 5-minute walk, you know, even though they want me to because they're so lazy. But when I do go down there with my duct tape piece of crap and they're all in their Mercedes SUVs, my duct tape piece of crap is a flex because you know what? My kids weren't there the last 2 years. What can you guys say? But again, but Mary, but they're good parents married to them. So but I'll drive my crappy car and it's a big, huge flex for me. So
anyway, Faye, if you get a chance and you just want a decent movie, I think you should check out that movie Big Eyes, and I'm going to watch that Elvis movie on Prime. And
you should. I'd love to hear what you say. And I think that like the actor playing him, I think his name is Austin Butler. He is no Elvis, but he's cute. Like he's cute. He did a good job. So
all right. Well, until next week then, and check out Big Eyes. I want you to watch Big Eyes. It was really good, and it made me very upset.
I promise I will. I'll send you something. I'll send you one of the things I watched with Elvis, especially with the fat suit, allegedly, and then text me back Big Eyes, and I'll know what you mean to remind me.
All right.
We all know my memory's not so good. All right. Mwah. God bless you
all. Right, good night.
Thanks.
God bless. Thank you guys. Bye-bye. If I can end this. All right. All right, good night.